Alright, so real quick, this is how I wired and framed my skeleton. This is one of the 5'4" skeletons. I didn't want to go with the 5'9" because it was already going to be about my height because the seat's higher. But anyways, this is a 5'4", and I want to show real quick what I've done to stabilize it, and it actually does work because I just crossed the wash. I drove across some super bumpy stuff through the sand and then onto the road, and was going about 55, 60, and he held on great. The only thing I noticed is if you hit whips, like real quick divots, it might bend down this way because he's kind of still posable that way, because I want it to give a little bit one way rather than snapping off. And I chose to go in because now I'll get to how these stabilize it left and right and pulls down to these points. I did a single one for the hip joint on each side, and then I made a loop off of this one that I tied the rib cage into, and that way everything is pulling off of this, and if I strain it that way, it's not pulling on the, I'm moving the rib cage and moving the whole bike. I'm not flexing that joint that's plastic. Did back, did the same right here. I'd run his legs. I'm gonna get to this later because I did that after the fact. Then I kept his leg here and foot from flopping into my tire by just tying around my license plate, which is pretty firm on my license plate holder. I did that on both sides. And alright, here I took 4 strands of this, so it's 4 strands of this wire here. It took like 8 feet, and then I doubled it, and then I doubled it again, and I ran it through the center of this bar, tight up against that bar, and then I wrapped that super tight around this bar. See under there? And I did the same thing over here, and didn't do anything with that yet. I left a lot of slack because I wanted to use that to tie into this one, or these. So I did the same thing with these. I went down through there, and then I tied it into this one, and that made that structure, it just moves side to side, but forward and backward is what it keeps it. Now all I need to do, if I didn't want him to move, I could lock his arms right here, but I want it to give some, otherwise it's gonna snap. But like I say, so far I've ridden it a while and across some rough stuff, and the biggest thing to worry about would be if you hit a big dip really fast where your front and your back goes in like a whoop-de-doo, it rocks him really fast, and then you'll get to where you're going and he'll be laying down, but you just push him right back. And yeah, it works. And with you in front, it blocks a lot of the wind, and obviously he's not catching a lot of wind. So yeah, that's how I wired mine in, and everything will just cut right off. I did this foam so that way it doesn't pierce into my seat from all the moving because of his tailbone being super hard. And yeah, that's it. But you could tell I move the whole bike when I rock This top half. There you go.